What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike is here, and it is day 63 of Oscar Rewind, my bi-weekly series of video commentary that reflects the work of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. I dig deep into those IMDb profiles, and my hope is that you will discover a new, older favorite, or maybe revisit something you haven't seen in a while. As always, I'll be discussing the recent Oscar connection, awards history for the film, box office information, critical response, and as always, these reviews are spoiler-free. Now, before I jump in, do me a favor, click that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of the goodness coming your way on the channel. All right, so we are continuing with Music Month. All those nominees and winners of the Best Original Score and Original Song categories, and these two films this week are all about the pride of the lion. Yes, and first up is a look at Screen Australia and the Weinstein Company's biopic, Lion. Written by Luke Davies, based on the memoir A Long Way Home, written by Saroo Brierley, and directed by, at the time, first-time feature film director Garth Davis, this film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in the fall of 2016, before releasing in all markets across late 2016 and early 2017. A box office success against its $12 million reported budget, the film, after its initial release and a small 2021 re-release, sits with a worldwide take of $140,853,810, with $51,738,905 coming from the domestic box office, and the remaining $89,114,905 from the international box office. Critically, the film was well received and currently sits with an 84% critical rating from 268 reviews and a slightly higher popcorn meter of 91% from over 25,000 ratings. Award season-wise, I'll be brief because it was a very expansive one. It did end its season with no wins, but 6 Oscar nominations: Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Dev Patel, Best Supporting Actress for Nicole Kidman, Best Adapted Screenplay for Davies, Best Cinematography for Greg Fraser. Remember him? I told you he'd be back. I talked about his work when I talked about Let Me In earlier last month, for those who have been with me. And finally, the reason we're here, a Best Original Score nomination for Dustin O'Halloran and Volker Bertelmann. A few other award moments I will highlight. The film was nominated for all of these categories except for the Best Picture at the BAFTAs. It had 6 Critics' Choice nods, all of the aforementioned ones, save Fraser's cinematography. The 6th nomination there was for Sonny Pawar for Best Young Actor or Young Actress. The film had 2 SAG Award nominations, again for Kidman and Patel, and 4 Golden Globe nods, Supporting Actress and Actor for Kidman and Patel again, Best Picture Drama, and Best Score. This on top of many, many other accolades that you can find on IMDb. So, the reason we're here again, the score. Volker Bertelmann earned his first Oscar nod for his work on Lion, and would go on to be nominated and win the category for his work on the recent All Quiet on the Western Front, and this year he received his 3rd career nomination for the haunting and tense score for Conclave. So, Lion, as we said, is a biopic about Saroo Brierley, played as a young boy in the roughly first half of the film by Sonny Pawar, and in the latter part as an adult by Dev Patel. Saroo, when he was 5 in the mid-1980s, loved to run around with his teenage brother Gudu, played by Abhishek Bharat, and he really looked up to him. The middle of 3 children, also having a younger sister, the 3 live with their mother in the rural village of Ganesh Talai in Khandwa, India. Their mother made money for the family by moving rocks, and the boys would scrape together coal or anything they could find from the freight trains to trade in order to get milk and food for their family. And Gudu would sometimes work other odd jobs, child labor. One day, Saroo begs Gudu to take him to work with him, and he does. They board a freight train, and upon arriving, Saroo says that he's too tired. So Gudu says, stay at the station, and he will be back shortly. The next day, however, Saroo wakes up and can't find Gudu. He gets on the train to wait, but falls asleep again, and when he wakes up, he has no idea where he is. Getting off the train, he arrives in Calcutta, where he doesn't understand the language, different dialect, different way of life, and he can't correctly name the village he is from. Through a series of events, he will escape various groups or individuals who try to capture him or sell him or worse, and eventually he ends up in a Calcutta orphanage. After time, no one comes to claim him, but there is a friendly social worker who says that there is a couple in Australia that wants to adopt him, so he goes. He is brought to Australia, where he is welcomed by John and Sue Brierley, played by David Wenham and Nicole Kidman. He is taught English and begins his new life. Years later, we jump, and Saroo is now an adult, getting ready to move from Tasmania to Melbourne to take a hotel management course. While there, he meets fellow student Lucy, played by Rooney Mara, and begins to build up his new life. One night while dining with his peers, he shares his story, and they tell him about the newly developing website Google Earth. This was around 2007, in case you're wondering about that timestamp. And that Saroo, with the information he has, might just be able to find where he came from. So from here, this becomes Saroo's obsession. He hopes to find his original family, but with this, it puts some tensions with his family and friends as said obsession starts to take over his life. And we are left to see if he will accomplish what he sets out to do. I'm going to say Lion is a beautifully told film that really follows Saroo's journey throughout all of its exploits. And while we see that he was adopted by a privileged family, that's not what this film is about. We're not looking at the savior storyline, although there's one little scene, but again, it's Nicole Kidman, so of course they're going to work that moment in. But really, this is not about him relying on his parents to help or anyone. This is about an individual who, yes, I have my family, I have my girlfriend, but I want to do this for myself. And this film also really looks at the toll that certain situations take on the homeless children in India and the circumstances that surround it. We see that John and Sue adopt another Indian child, Montosh, who's played in the film by Keshav Jadhav as an adult. Keshav Jadhav as a child, and Divian Ladwa as an adult. And when he comes to join the family, he has a very different response than Saroo did. At its heart, this film is really a story of self-discovery and never detracting from what needs to be done, even if the consequences may or may not be as satisfying as one would hope. Davies adapts the source material in a way that really the film plays like a mystery, but we're never feeling uncomfortable, but we're just along for this ride and feeling hopeful. Patel turns in another wonderful performance, as he is apt to do as the adult Saroo. Pawar as the young Saroo, he's so delightful in this first acting role. I mean, you watch him in this and you just want to pick him up and give him a hug. And both of them take us on this this journey that they're able to imbue every moment with heart and passion. Kidman, in her few scenes, makes her mark well known, and Mara, while a delight to see in this, is a little underused. Her character does serve a little bit of its purpose, and it's important to Saroo's story, but one almost wonders if it was necessary. There was enough here to move the story along without including the love interest, but I suppose because it's a biopic, we're trying to include all those elements. Fraser's cinematography is compelling when he is capturing this, fast-paced and poverty-ridden streets of India in certain pockets, filling the screen with earth tones of brown and beige and gray, and then giving a bit more highlighted tones when we arrive in Australia. Bertelmann knows just how to underscore each moment with a simple score that tugs at the heartstrings when needed, and possibly has you smiling from ear to ear at certain key moments. The first half, I will say, plays a little bit stronger than the latter half, but in all, this is a heartwarming story of resilience. Look, Lion is a beautifully made film. It is a 4-star film. It is available to stream on Netflix if you haven't had a chance to see this, or you haven't seen it in the almost 10 years since we have it, and you want to go rewatch. So there it is. That is the first half of Pride of the Lion Week down. And if you're wondering why this film is called Lion, well, I don't want to spoil it. You will learn that when you go and actually watch the film. But it does add a whole new layer to this film when you learn it. Come back Friday when I look at a classic film that is beloved by almost everyone, but not necessarily me. Curious? Well, you know what you got to do. You got to come on back on Friday. As always, if you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, and spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. Find lots of great additional content on my website, cinephilemike.com. All right. Happy watching, everyone, and until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.